Alicia, the Empowered Woman, and today we're going to talk about myths. Myths that actually don't help you grow. What are some of the myths that you maybe have in your head, or ideas basically that you've heard through the years on how you grow? And self-help myths are really funny because somehow they become truths because we keep saying them over and over again. You hear the advice of other people, and because of that, you've made it true. And it's really important to think about what really works versus what's a myth. So let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. As someone that wants to grow all the time and loves to learn and have a thirst for learning, I know there are others like you, and I hope that's how you stumbled upon this channel. And it sounds really good, but sometimes there are things that are out there that are not really helping us grow. They're actually hurting us. And one of the myths I want to talk about is the concept of just think positive and just think happy thoughts, or I'm having happy thoughts. And I think there's some funny movies that talk about it, like I feel so happy, I feel so pretty, I feel so great. And even though you're mad, you're like, I feel so happy, and you're like furious about it. And it's one of those things that you think because you keep saying it over and over again, or the concept of an affirmation without any meaning behind it or anything that's really connected to you emotionally and physically, that just saying those words will make everything change. Or, hey, I'm just gonna think about how awesome I am, and that's why everyone should be my friend, or why I should get the role, or why I should get the position, or why my life should just be better because I'm gonna think positive. So that would be an example of it not working out for you, because I think it's one of those things that you think by not taking any action, you can just say it or think it. The non-action is the issue there. And that's why we always say that it's the person that's fast and able to execute an idea or actually take action, even if it's imperfect. That is so much more powerful and going to project you so much faster to what you want and growing yourself. So that will be the number one thing, is the just think positive. There's no action behind it. It's really just using words and thoughts and not doing anything to move it forward into the reality of the world, because we do live in a tangible world, yes? And then also the second myth I would think about is an issue for a lot of people is just cut everybody out, right? I think you hear about that, the concept of, oh, if your friend doesn't support you, cut them out. If your spouse doesn't support you, cut them out. If your mom doesn't support you, cut them out. It's a very easy thing to say to someone, but if you're in it, it's very difficult to just cold turkey cut people out of your life that you see every single day or that are very important to you. And I think one of the things that you need to think about doing before you just cut everybody off is try to create healthy lines of demarcation, or to say, hey, this is important to me, so please don't talk about that. Or if you're trying to have a healthy relationship with someone, you may just understand they're probably not going to change. I think we all have people in our lives that's who they are. No matter what you do, you have to accept them for who they are and understand it's not them changing, it's you changing your response to them. So I think sometimes difficult people or difficult situations that are not supporting you in any way, shape, or form are there for lessons that you need to be learning about yourself. So just a thought there. And then I think one of the things of those two myths, those are the two biggest things that come to mind, but also the myth of that if you don't have this specific morning routine like everybody else has, and if you don't get up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, that you're not going to be successful. I think there's many successful people out there, like the Alex Hormozis of the world, that say that they don't have a morning routine. They just get up and work. They don't do all of the things and the cold plunges. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm going to put a disclaimer that that's something that gives you empowerment and helps you grow and change you. And it's one of the things that puts you in the mindset you need to be at to have your best day and best version. Then I think you should do it 1,000%. What I'm talking about is that I think it's a myth to think that if you don't do those things that you can't be successful or you can't have the things you want in life. Everybody's in different seasons in life. Not everybody needs to push and drive the way some people do. Some people work different shifts. Like if you're a second shift worker, you're not getting up at 3 in the morning. You're just getting home from work and going to bed. Or you may be getting up really early to go to work, and then you're going to come home and be exhausted. So it just depends on the lifestyle you have, what your life is like, what your family is like. There's seasons. There may be some time that you're going to be like that. There was definitely a version of myself in the past when I got into the business, meaning real estate business, that I did get up super early in the morning, and I bought into the whole thing. The Miracle Morning with Hal Elrod, who is excellent. And I love that book. I've probably read it 10 times. I highly recommend it. It's not that it's a bad book or a bad concept. I think it's just not necessarily a must-have for every single person. And that leads me back into another myth, is that there is an end-all be-all for everybody, and that's universal. Every person's unique, just like our fingerprint. Every person has different wants and needs. Every person comes from a different fabric of what they want in life and what they come from. And it's really important to know who you are. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the whole coaching journey and learning about myself is getting to understand who I am at the soul level, getting to understand of why I want certain things, why things are changing, and allowing things to kind of unfold and happen and know I'm exactly where I need to be. I don't need to push. I don't need to force things, that things will unfold as it should. And also just to be aware and kind of be more looking around and observing, not so much jumping in to try to fix everything all the time. So those are some myths I think that's important to really spell out what things do work. I'm going to go back to coaching again. I think coaching is an excellent option. I am a coach. I help real estate agents coach in the business world. I also am working now towards becoming a pranic healer. That's not really a coach, but it is a way of clearing energies, helping people get clean, helping people restore their energy, their life force to get better. And I think that's maybe makes you be optimized. I guess it's someone that can help you optimize life, whether it's a trainer at the gym or someone that you can just talk to or a good friend. Those are things that I can think move you forward. But if you're not using those tools of getting that information and working with someone and applying, again, it goes all the way back to that myth one about if you're not applying and taking action on the things that you say you want to change in your life and grow with. I don't care how many books you read, how many conferences you go to, how many coaches you work with, you're going to continue to blame the why that it didn't work, or this coach didn't make it work, or, oh, that wasn't for me, and they're horrible, they don't know. You got to wonder what's going on. It's like when the one person dates the same person over and over and over again, because you're sabotaging your ability to grow because you're too tied to that past version of yourself. So I would challenge and ask yourself, what is it that you really want? And are you willing to kill the past version of yourself to have the growth that you need? That's a really important conversation to have. And I think that it's something sometimes like kind of cloudy for some people because they don't really know what that new version is yet because they're so tied to that old version. But they do have like little whispers of, I know I want this. I know I want this for my life. I know I want to be this person for my family, for my spouse, for myself. I want to grow in this way. I want to challenge myself. If you're having those callings and whispers to yourself, it is a call to make change in your life. Don't ignore it. Like, listen to it, but also don't sabotage yourself. I think one of the biggest issues that people see in this self-help world, in the general personal growth world, is that they may be on a roll and things were going great and great and great, and one thing happens, they hit a wall, and they literally go all the way back to the beginning because they're like, forget it, I'm done, I quit. It's too much, it's too hard. Instead of taking it as a challenge and learning from it and growing and going to the next step, they will wave the white flag and be done. So it's not supposed to be easy. That's the journey. And I will say this because I had a client recently and I said, every deal that's difficult, I'm in a challenging deal right now with inspections. And it's interesting because I welcome the challenge because through the negotiations and through the understanding and the growth is where you show your value as an agent. It shows your expertise. It gives you information, knowledge of how to proceed forward. You learn so much more when deals like that happen than when things just go pop, 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 no problem. And life is like that, right? When you have a challenge in life, whether it's in your relationships, in your career, anything, typically that's probably your biggest time of growth. You just don't see it because you're miserable in it. I always tell everybody it sucks when you're in the hole and you're going through the fire, but when you're outside the fire and you look back, you're like, wow, that was amazing. We did that. I did that. I survived. So that's something to really think about, like who you want to be and what you have to do to go through to get there. But I think we need to also understand, like, you got to get real. Healing is not pretty. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes there's a lot of shame wrapped around people in personal growth because they have to admit the past versions where they were not the best versions of themselves. And it's hard to look back and be like, ugh, cringe, I hate that version of myself. But that's part of who you are. And it's something that you should embrace and be okay with because that's why you are who you are and who you're going to continue to grow. But if you stand still and you kind of don't grow, then you die in a way, little by little. You just don't realize it. And there are so many people, when you look at older people, they even say, like, when you go to the nursing home, there's so much regret from people for not doing the things they wanted to do, for not doing the experiences, not having the time with the loved ones. Don't be that person where you look back on time and think, oh my God, I could have, would have, should have. And that would be the biggest thing I would say, is that it's really powerful to launch yourself in that healing journey if you are able to handle it. And the reason why I think you are able to handle it is because we're all built for that. We don't give ourselves a chance. So don't sabotage yourself and your own personal growth would be the biggest thing, I think, to help counteract some of these myths. Again, don't just think positive. Don't just cut everybody off. Look to see to renegotiate your relationships to support you, to help you grow, to go to the next level. Heal. Have those conversations that are challenging, because a lot will happen in that growth, and acknowledge your part in all the change, even if it's that you allowed to it. You allowed things to happen to you. I'd love to know. Comment below a myth you may have about what you once believed and change, and what works for you now in personal growth and self-growth and self-help. I'd love to know it. Until next time, stay empowered.